They want to observe them. Why can I observe them?
No, we've been waiting for them. We go from there. We go inside.
What are you doing here? That's my question. What are you guys doing in that place?
We escort man.
We escort the owner of the land.
My people, this story that is coming out of Kaduna right now is one that everybody are talking about, because report says that Fulani militias walk straight into police hands and the security forces record a very big win. Now, let me break this gist down very well so that everybody will understand. And please, as you're listening, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you always get real-time news gist without stress. What really happened is that for some time now, Kaduna State has been hot because of different attacks here and there. People in some local communities have been living in fear, with bandits and armed groups disturbing the peace. Farmers no fit go their farms in peace. Herders, they face problems too. And innocent families, they caught in the middle. Everybody has been calling on security to do something strong, to send a message that criminals cannot just walk around freely. So when this report came out that Fulani militias allegedly walked right into a police trap, many people clapped their hands in relief. But let us explain carefully. What is a police trap? It is when security forces plan ahead. They know that criminals are coming and they hide and position themselves so that once the attackers enter, they cannot escape. That is exactly the kind of thing this gist is about. They say these militias thought they could come and do whatever they wanted, but instead of surprising the community, they were the ones surprised because the police and security men were waiting for them. And the story goes that they faced serious heat. That's why people are saying this is a big win for the security forces. Please, if you're still with me, just pause for a second, click like and subscribe right now. It helps this channel to grow and it means you won't miss updates like this. Now, the gist is sweet, but at the same time, we need to understand the background. Kaduna has not been having it easy. If you look at the southern part of Kaduna, you will hear stories of villages that have been attacked in the past months. Families were displaced, lives were lost, and people were living with fear. So when security forces score a success, people celebrate because they know it could give them small peace of mind. But let me also remind us, one victory cannot end everything overnight. It is like chasing rats out of a house. It tells you catch one today, but if you leave the door open, another will still enter. That's why security in Nigeria needs consistency, not just one-time show. Let's also talk about who these militias are. When people hear Fulani militia, different things come to mind. Some people see it as farmer-herder conflict. Others see it as criminal bandit groups. And others say it's a mixture. People who take advantage of land disputes and then turn it into full-scale violence. At the end of the day, innocent people are the ones who suffer. And because of that, government and security always have to be careful. They have to protect lives, but they also have to avoid making it look like one ethnic group is being punished. Because when people feel targeted, the cycle of revenge starts again. This is why many analysts have been saying if security wants to succeed, they should not only catch these militias, but also engage with local leaders, farmers, herders, and the youth in those areas. Everybody must sit down, talk, and create local peace solutions. Without that, even after today's win, tomorrow another attack can still happen. And that is why I always say the news is sweet, but let us think about tomorrow. Please, before I continue, just remember to hit like and subscribe now. Don't wait to the end. Now, let me give you a clearer picture. Imagine a group of armed men maybe thinking they are going to raid a village or ambush travelers. They are walking confidently into an area, believing no one is ready for them. But unknown to them, security operatives have gotten tip-off, maybe from intelligence or from local vigilantes. The police set up their positions, maybe even with backup from military. Then suddenly the supposed attackers walk right into that zone. That is the type of trap being described. Instead of them causing fear, they ended up facing the shock. For communities who have been praying for peace, this is like a breath of fresh air. But we also have to note something important. Reports about these events sometimes come first from social media, and then official statements follow later. So while everybody is rejoicing, we should also watch out for confirmed details: how many suspects were arrested, what weapons were recovered, and whether civilians were kept safe. Because the full truth always comes out slowly. Still, no matter how you look at it, the fact that security forces are now setting traps and taking proactive steps is a very positive sign. Now, let me take us a bit deeper into Kaduna's challenges. This state is like a crossroad in Nigeria. It has a farming communities, grazing lands, ethnic diversity, and also a long history of religious and political tensions. Because of that, when violence starts, it spreads quickly and it becomes harder to control. That is why the government often deploys security heavily to Kaduna, because they know if peace breaks there, the impact can be felt in other states too. And that is why this kind of successful operation is important. It shows criminals that Kaduna is not an easy playground. My brothers and sisters watching, don't forget to click like and subscribe as you're enjoying this gist. It helps me keep bringing you fresh updates in a simple way. So what does this big win really mean? For the security forces, it boosts morale. It shows them that their work is not in vain, and it gives them confidence that intelligence and teamwork can bring results. For the community, it gives them some relief, some hope that maybe the tide is turning. And for the militias, it sends a warning: you cannot always get away with violence. If you try it, the security men are waiting. But again, the real question is this: will it last? Because we know how these things go. Sometimes you hear that security defeated a group, but 2 weeks later, another attack happens. That is why I want us to reflect. The police and army must not just celebrate today. They must use this momentum to continue working day and night. And government must also provide support: logistics, equipment, welfare for the security men, so they can keep delivering. Viewers, let me also engage you. What do you think is the best way to stop these militias for good? Is it strong security action, or do we need more peace talks, or maybe both? Drop your thoughts in the comments, Warenki. Because this conversation is not just for me alone. And as you're typing, don't forget to subscribe, because I will be reading and sharing some of your thoughts in the next video. Let me also touch the human side again, because we must not forget it. Imagine the families in villages around southern Kaduna. They have seen gunmen enter their homes, burn their houses, and take away loved ones. That trauma is real. When they now hear that police have succeeded in catching or defeating a militia group, they can at least sleep small better at night. But to heal fully, they also need government support: rebuilding homes, providing food and water, and ensuring children can go back to school without fear. Security victories are good, but community recovery is even better. So my people, as we round up this gist, let's put it this way. Fulani militias reportedly walked into a police trap in Kaduna, and security forces have recorded a big win. The story is trending because it feels like justice. The hunters became the hunted. But while we celebrate, we also must keep asking for more consistent actions, clear communication from security agencies, and real development in affected communities. This is the kind of news that shows progress, but also reminds us the journey is still long. Please, if you enjoyed this gist, I want you right now to click like and subscribe. Let us build a family here where we talk real news in clear, simple English that everyone understands. So let's take a look back at how Kaduna has been in the past few years. Because when we understand the history, this present trap victory makes even more sense. Kaduna is a state that has carried a heavy burden of violence for long. If you remember, in 2020 and 2021, there were repeated reports of attacks on farmers in southern Kaduna. Many families lost their loved ones, and some people even moved away from their villages completely. By 2022, the kidnappings along highways became another big problem. People traveling from Abuja to Kaduna were living in fear. Why am I reminding us of this? Because when we hear today that police actually set a trap, it shows a change of tactics. Before, most times, security would only react after an attack. They would come late, count casualties, and issue statements. But now, with this report, we are hearing that they were ahead of the criminals. That is a big difference, and it is what many Nigerians have been asking for: proactive security, not just reactive. And let me say this clearly, so you don't miss it. Nigeria can only win this battle against militias, bandits, and criminals if intelligence improves. Intelligence simply means knowing what is about to happen before it happens. So if police can get the right information, they can always prepare traps like this and stop criminals before they strike. That's why I'm happy about this Kaduna gist. It's not just about today, it's about showing that things can be done better. Please, my viewers, if you agree with me so far, just click that like button now and subscribe. When you support the channel, it makes me know you want me to continue bringing these deep breakdowns of Nigerian stories in simple English. Now let's compare with other states. In Zamfara, Katsina, and Niger State, bandits have also been disturbing communities badly. Sometimes they move in large numbers on motorcycles. Sometimes they attack at night, and sometimes they kidnap whole groups of people. But what has been missing in many of those places is consistent intelligence work. Kaduna is showing us that if you can gather good information, plan ahead, and spring a trap, you can actually change the story. So maybe other states can learn from this. Imagine if traps like this were set in Niger State, Zamfara, or Sokoto. It would reduce the fear people live with every day. At the same time, let's not forget the bigger picture. Militias and bandits survive because they know the terrain well, they hide in forests, and they sometimes even get support from informants inside the community. If the people in those communities start to trust the police more, they will share information, and that makes it easier to catch criminals. So we must also talk about trust. Police must treat people fairly so that villagers will see them as friends, not as outsiders, because without trust, information will not flow. And let me also add, government must look at the roots of the problem: land use, grazing routes, poverty, unemployment. If young people in those areas have no jobs, some of them are tempted to join militias for money. So if elders don't have proper grazing land, conflict with farmers continues. So while the victory today is sweet, we need long-term plans so that new militias don't rise tomorrow. Viewers, let me engage you again. What do you think government should focus on more? Should it be more military action, or should it be more dialogue and development? Tell me in the comments, because I really want to know what you think, and I'll share some of your answers in the next video. And don't forget, subscribe now if you haven't yet, because we are building a family here where every voice matters. Now let me take us back to the emotional part. Picture this: a small community in southern Kaduna where villagers have been staying awake at night because they're afraid of attacks. Every sound of a motorbike makes them jump. Every dog barking makes them fear. Then they hear this news that police have caught militias in a trap. Can you imagine the relief? Parents can tuck their children into bed and breathe a little easier. Farmers can begin to think about planting crops again. This is why these wins matter so much. It's not just about statistics. It's about human lives being touched. But my people, let's also be realistic. Security victories like this one can make militias angry, and sometimes they come back harder to prove they are still strong. That's why security forces must not relax after today. They must increase patrols, watch the villages closely, and continue building trust with the people. If they relax, the criminals may regroup. So, as much as we clap for this victory, we must also remind our leaders to stay sharp. Now, let me round everything up nicely. The gist today is simple but powerful. Fulani militias reportedly walked into a police trap in Kaduna, and the security forces achieved a big win. It is a moment that gives hope, especially for people who have suffered so much from violence. It shows that when security plans ahead, they can beat the criminals at their own game. It also reminds us that the fight is not finished. We need consistency, intelligence, and long-term solutions. So, my people, I want you to hold on to this thought. Today's victory is good news, but tomorrow's safety depends on what we do next. And as you reflect on this, don't forget to like this video right now, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. Together, we can keep spreading real news, not fake news, in a way everybody can understand. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Stay safe, take care of your family, and I will see you in the next gist. God bless you.